Yesterday I formed up and poured this new slotted base for a tablet style marker, a marble marker like that. So what's going to happen is out at the cemetery, this tablet will set inside that slot, and depending on how much inscription there is, that'll determine just how deep into the slot we'll set this. So this slot, actually, I call it a pass-through slot. It goes the full depth of the concrete. If I need to raise the monument so the inscriptions are still legible and in sight, then I will just add some aggregate or sand to the bottom of that to lift the monument up. So let's pretend that this is the monument we're going to re-erect. I've got another one almost identical size out at the cemetery waiting for a base, and that's what we're going to be forming up and pouring over in that second form. So let's set the tablet in the slot to give you kind of an idea. So here's kind of a, imagine this is out at the cemetery. This would be kind of a example of what the finished product will look like. A new pedestal, a new base, and this will float on a bed of deep bed of aggregate, much like a sidewalk does, or even this garage floor. There's no foundation, no footing, and that'll allow it to rise and fall and shift and move with the movement of the earth and the freezing and thawing here in Minnesota. So right now it's sitting fully all the way into about 5.5 inches of concrete. So that is our new slot that this will sit in. So we've incorporated a slot into the new pedestal. So we're kind of combining two different, previously things that were two different steps or pieces into one. So that's what we're going to do over here. Is we've got that cavity form that creates this slot. So that's what this form will do. I've got 2 bags of concrete mixed and ready to go. So we're going to shovel that in, and I've got the form marked on the base of the master form, the outer perimeter form. So I know that as I add concrete in, I'm not shifting that around. I'll remeasure it to make sure it's in the correct position. So let's go ahead and dump some concrete. Okay, we just added 2 bags of concrete to this form. Basically, and I rechecked my measurements, and once I was sure that the form was in the proper position, the cavity form, then basically I just took a small 2x4 and tamped it around the perimeter to kind of lock it in a little more so it won't move when I pour in more concrete. I will tamp down the corners a little bit, but I don't want this to be a nice smooth layer or mix, because then the next layer won't kind of interlock. So I don't want a cold joint, I think is what they call it. So let's mix up 2 more bags and throw it in. Okay, we've got about exactly 4 bags of concrete mix in there now. And so I've taken the shovel to kind of tamp it in and try to get rid of any air pockets, force it into the corners, and just kind of compact it a little bit. The other thing it does is kind of helps intermix the 2 pours, the first 2 bags with the second 2 bags. So now I'm ready to use that dimensional lumber and kind of float it, screed it, whatever you call it, kind of use a sawing action to level it out across the top of the form. And it should glide right over that center form, and so to create a level surface all the way across. And then later on, after I'm done with that, then we'll insert some lag screws into that cavity form. So then I've got a handle to wiggle that around, move it, loosen it up, and then slowly lift it up out of there as the concrete sets. Well, we're progressing, but a little slowly. So Got it floated off, troweled once, and now I went around and done a little edging. My mixture's a little coarse right now, but we'll keep working on that. You can see the form, cavity form, I started to pull out, put some lag screws in it. So now I can grip those, move them around, wiggle them, create enough space and keep it loose so I can slide that out. You know that it's all wrapped in packing tape, and I found that that's allowing me to let it slip out a little easier. And if it does happen to bind in or lock in, I can cut that packing tape apart and separate the pieces. So let's look at the anatomy of this cavity form. It's simply, I've got some 5/4 inch decking material and 1/2 inch filler in between to create 2.5 inches. So I want to take my measurements of my marble tablet and add 1/4 inch to each side. So I'm adding 1/2 inch to the width, 1/2 inch to the length, and that's my cavity. So you see here that essentially when I'm done, I'll pack some, you can pack sand in there, you can pack mortar in there, put a bead of sealant or adhesive in there, and you'll see in some other videos how that looks in the finished project. So we're just nearing the final stages, need to do some more finish work. So let's keep troweling and see if we can get a nice smooth edge, like hopefully as nice as I did over here. Well, this one's been a little more of a challenge to get a nice smooth finish. It seems like most of the aggregate just right below the surface, so I'm having trouble getting a nice smooth trowel. But basically, we've been moving the form around, the cavity form, and I could almost pull it out, but I'm going to let the concrete set, so when I pull it up, it doesn't crumble away this nice 90-degree edging. So basically, maybe in a few minutes we'll give it one final trowel, but essentially we're gonna call that project done. So now we've got get my shadow out of there. So now we've got two new slotted bases for a marble tablet style headstone. That now incorporates the slot that it sets in, and a new floating, we'll call it a floating base, rather than basically a dug in and buried limestone base, which a lot of these had on. And then they were also sitting on a pile of field stone, so it was a very unstable monument. So there you have it. Check out some other videos and do what you can in your local cemeteries to help them out. Thank you.